It is not even WNBA season, but the WNBA is so important. We're talking college hoops. We are talking the creator of that very phrase. I'm joined by Ari Chambers here today. Thank you for making Locked On Women's Basketball your first listen. It starts right now.
Ogunbowale for the win.
You are Locked On Women's Basketball, your daily podcast on women's basketball.
Today's episode is chock full of women's hoops. We're talking Athletes Unlimited. We're talking college hoops. Maybe we'll even touch on the WNBA and all the digital content Ari Chambers has been putting out for the league. She is the founder of Highlight Her, Forbes 30 Under 30, honoree, supporter of women's sports all across the board. And today, when this episode comes out, it's her birthday. So this is the Ari Chambers episode. We are giving all our flowers to the one and only Ari Chambers today.
I'm excited. Yay.
We're so excited to have you. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code, all lowercase, LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. All right, Ari. Oh my gosh, it's been a minute. Thank you so much for coming on. Happy birthday when this comes out, even though we're recording it a little bit early.
I love how you say it's been a minute, but I swear I see you more than my best friend. Like I see you maybe like twice a month. I'm like, we're on a roll, Gigi. We've done great. We've done great for ourselves.
We've done great. And every time I see you too, down, like the look is down, the makeup's perfect, everything on point. Man, it's been so nice to just watch you do your thing. And I'm always a fan of you. You know that. And what have these past months been like for you, this 2024?
That's how you started, as I'm sitting here with a bare face and my hair just like tied up because, you make me feel comfortable. So I show up exactly as my bare self with you. But these last few months have been completely crazy in the best way possible. Especially like springtime and bringing in the new year is so transformative every single year for me. I like to level set and goal set every January, and just say, hey, these are my intentions for the year. And so I've been actively pursuing those intentions, whether that be premiering season 3 of Off Top with WNBA or Athletes Unlimited or, planning for the Summer Olympics, So there's so many different things coming into fruition for me because I love to level set beginning of the year to make sure that we are on track. But I love running into you. I love running into all the fierce women that cover women's sports, and it's been dope, and it's a sisterhood. And oh my God, the PWHL game too. That was fun, making my way out to New York and just being able to see how much women's sports is growing.
I can only imagine. It's not a simple time right now. It's not like your schedule is not busy. So for you, is there something there's so much going on? How are you focusing every day on, you got AU to worry about, you got the college championships all going on and WNBA coming up. So are you compartmentalizing? You are wherever you are kind of thing, or how does that work for you?
I feel like whenever people hire me to do something, they know that I'm going to approach it with passion and just caring for the players. And I never cheat the game. I consume it on a regular, even if I weren't working it. So just showing up and doing what I do every day, talking to people, opening up space and consuming the sport. So it's kind of like reflexive for me to be present in these places. Now, is my schedule crazy? Yes. Can I sleep on the plane? Absolutely. I'll knock out. Everybody's like, how do you sleep? I sleep perfectly fine. 8 hours a night at least. I am I don't play about sleep. I don't play about rest. And so whether that's in a car, in a plane, or in a bed, it doesn't matter. So I'm able to, yes, compartmentalize, but I don't necessarily need to because it's something that I would be consuming anyway.
100%. I got that, and that makes sense. I feel that energy from you. All right, so let's talk AU, man. You're there. Week 3 is coming up, and oh my gosh, Alicia Gray has been killing it. Tosh Cloud. Who is your favorite player to watch these past 3 weeks?
I tend to lean toward like the silky smooth type of game for players. So Alicia Gray has been my favorite. I love when somebody has just a smooth but like very impactful game. So like when it comes to WNBA play, I enjoy watching her, like Ryan Howard. Like I just love silky smooth basketball, and Alicia Gray has some of that. Plus, if you know her personality, Athletes Unlimited has the unique ability to push players outside of their comfort zone, because if you do perform at a high level, you become captain. So the top 4 on the leaderboard become captains each week, and captains have to draft the teams and coach the teams as they're playing on the team. And so just seeing Alicia be pushed into her leadership role that, you know, she's capable of, and having to be more vocal and having to take charge a little bit more has been really fun to watch. Also, Tiffany Mitchell. That's one of those ones who hasn't had a proper chance in the WNBA to showcase her full capabilities, but in Athletes Unlimited, she's killing it. So she's one of those players that she doesn't ever see a shot she doesn't like. She can drive, she can shoot, she can facilitate. Like, everything about Tiffany Mitchell has been a joy to watch as well. And Adut Bogak, she deserves to be on a roster in the WNBA. She's had some injuries. She birthed a child, and she just came back from France, and so she's been really working on her shot efficiency and just learning how to move with her new body, because, you know, a baby can change you and injuries can change you, and she just looks really good coming into the season.
I love AU. And yeah, you mentioned Tiffany Mitchell's in 3rd right now on the leaderboard in points, 2,894. Tash right above her, 3,225, and Alicia Gray leading all charges with 3,679. But in 4th place, Odyssey Sims, who for me I feel like is AU personified, 2,822 points right now for her. And I loved watching her play last year. And I feel like all 4 of these players were consistently captains last year. So for you, are you seeing them, especially because you could be this like maternal figure for people too, you're seeing them step into this leadership role, right? And you could kind of see them be consistently more leaders than maybe they can be on their teams in the W in a way.
Yeah, and it's great that you said maternal, because that's how I look at Odyssey. We didn't mention Odyssey beforehand, but I'm glad you brought her up, because Athletes Unlimited is made for her. She can go that one-on-one matchup. She can really, really challenge you as a player who's trying to guard her. She challenges her team to be better. If you look at it like points-wise, you can assume that, like, hey, she's holding the ball for herself. No, she distributes that basketball. She makes everybody around her better. She gets her team involved. She's always looking to involve her teammates. Natasha Cloud said everybody eats, but Odyssey Sims has that same mentality where everybody eats on her team. And I see the appreciation that the players have for her team each and every week for how she runs it. And so, yeah, yay.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Okay, all right. So AU too, you have histories with a lot of the players. So for you in your role, you're sideline reporting mostly, right? Or are you analyst? Analyst.
I do everything for Athletes Unlimited. Up until last year, I had just done special features, and we won a Webby for it. There's my Webby. So that was for diversity and softball, our season 1 Sport 1 series, and then we have All on the Table with the basketball team. And then I played volleyball, so I was able to work out with the volleyball team for about a week, and just like showcase what it's like to play Athletes Unlimited volleyball. But I do some of everything. Last year I did some analyst work, and Cindy Brunson was my play-by-play. This year I started off as sideline for week 1, and week 2 I'm an analyst, and week 3 is my birthday week, so you won't see any of me in there. And we love Monica McNutt instills balance in my life, so I'm trying to enforce that. But Janae Sims is on the sideline now, and you'll see her on the sideline the rest of the season. And I love how Athletes Unlimited enables new talent to really grow and flourish. And so I'm really looking forward to what Janae Sims can bring to sideline. And that's a great testament to not having to fit into one box, right? You look at people who you assume are like just influencers, but then they show you their sideline capabilities. And that's kind of like exactly the method I live by. Why would you be contained to one box? And so I love when I can keep people guessing. You're like, are you sideline? I'm like, no, I'm an analyst. And then I'm like, no, I'm an influencer. No, I'm a host. No, I'm an advocate. No, there are so many different places that you can find yourself within the women's sports space. And Athletes Unlimited allowed me to grow in different facets Have I done all these jobs before? Absolutely. But Athletes Unlimited is a nice, happy home for me that I know is like safe to nurture me to grow.
It's so beautiful to hear about that. And I love everything on Twitter and how honest you're being about the whole experience. And I feel like the nurturing relationships and skill sets out of what your typical lane might be, I think that's women's sports on a deeper scale too.
I think that we have to be honest about the vulnerability it takes to dive into something new. When you wear many hats, especially if you do a few hats really, really well and you're at the top of your game, when you step into something that you don't have the reps in as much, it can be very difficult. And it's not all rainbows and ponies. Like after that first day on sideline, I was like, I'm quitting. Like, I'm not doing this anymore because I've never been a sideline girly. Like, if anything on broadcast, I was an analyst. Like, sideline is much more difficult than people think. And I didn't go into it underestimating it, but I had a really bad day one. And, you know, you can't, as talent, you can't rely on people understanding whatever production issues that might be had, or like the fact that it is day one of a new season. People don't understand that. They just understand the delivery you're giving. And so I had to take responsibility for that because I never want to feel like I'm not giving my all, which I did, but I never like to fail. I have a really big issue with not being excellent. And I had to take a step back and give myself grace. I told Sherry, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. She's like, well, you are. So Sherry's our director. She's like, well, you are. So where do we go from here? And it's just that those pushes that I need to really step into different hats that I want to wear, that I claim to wear. So if I'm going to talk about it, I have to be about it. But that also means owning when I'm not the best at it. And that's a lesson that I would tell everybody. If you're not the best at something, like, you can work towards it. When I'm over here venting to Holly, one of my producers, I'm like, yo, like, can't nobody touch me with interviewing. I love interviewing. I feel like I'm at the top of my game with hosting and interviewing. She's like, you weren't always like that though. You have to work towards it. And it's just a reminder that even if you're not at the pinnacle of something, there's beauty in the journey and learning and how to get better. And there's beauty in the transparency of how difficult that is. It's not easy. People see both of our jobs, Gigi, and they look at it and they say, hey, this is a dream job, but they don't realize the work that it takes to get in there. Just because it's wrapped up in rainbows and ponies online doesn't mean that, you know, back when I was starting out, I wasn't 3 for $1 bananas trying to make my way on up to different places and being a PR's worst nightmare, trying to just get my story across. And this is before social media was big, so people just didn't understand it at all. But I had to be reminded that that's where I came from. So I can be humbled to know that I can't just come out and just jump to the top. And so Athletes Unlimited allows me to get those reps, and the players want you there too. It's a really player run league. And I just felt at home after that.
We're going to get more into this perfectionism too, and everything that you do for the women's game. Today's episode is presented by Prize Picks. So it's demon time on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You could turn $10 into $1,000. Demons and goblins are the newest and most exciting way to play at Prize Picks. Squares marked with red demons or green goblins get you different payouts. You can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. We could all pick that. I feel like I could even pick that. And I don't even want to even touch betting like that. But so we could select, let's say we're going to the men's side. Sabrina just shot against him, Steph Curry for more than 29 points. And then I'll say the Joker for more than 10 rebounds. So that's easy. You just pick a player's stats and type your selecting, highlight your winnings from Prize Picks, and really just have a fun time with it. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA and use code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Okay. All right. So Ari, I watched your newest episode of Off Top, and this is with 2 people who, I mean, talk about reaching a pinnacle of their career, but they're not even where they want to be yet. So 2 number 1 picks in Ryan Howard and Aaliyah Boston, joined by you. And Aaliyah was saying, what if I don't live up to that? And that was kind of her mindset when she got drafted number 1 and how scary that could be. And Ryan was talking about how hard that last season was for her because she knew that that's where her season was leading. And those are big shoes to fill. For you, you're very purpose driven. I know this about you and I love this and it motivates me too. So for you, how are you measuring wins throughout this journey where typically a lot of people want to measure it by how you're doing in respect to men's sports. And you say all the time that you turn down jobs in men's sports. So for you, what is a win for you in your day to day?
Well, in the grand scheme of things, a win is to see where women's sports is right now. Sold out stadiums, football stadiums sold out for volleyball and basketball, lines outside of the door, seeing 3 rows of media members instead of 3 media members, seeing people tweet about it all the time. Year over year, from I think it was 2020 to 2021, it was a 471% jump in social impressions, and you see the networks really paying mind to the next network deal that the WNBA is going to have. You see leagues like the PWHL come into fruition and people being so excited about it. That's success for me. And personally, day to day, I'll talk about Dory Harrison at Athletes Unlimited because that's the last long interview that I had. When she was talking to me, and then at the end, she was like, "Thank you for sharing my story." That's success to me, because when I can get a story out of a player that might not have otherwise had the facilitator to amplify the story in that way, that is where my purpose lies. My purpose is not the easy stories. And in the past, few months, it's been a little bit more difficult for me because I'm in a transition period in my life. And so I'm still trying to stay near and dear to my origin of telling all sports stories, no matter the age level, ability, or sport. And I want to be able to continue that. So success is that, thank you for sharing my story. It's that smile that they have when they see their stories. It's having an Aaliyah Boston and a Ryan Howard, especially Rye, who doesn't really talk to many people. Like I'm just lucky that she's my friend, to be able to showcase and say, oh, we haven't heard this from her yet. That's success for me. Or just see the lightness. I will never forgive the landscape for villainizing Aaliyah Boston her senior year of college. I will never forgive them. I will never forgive the stigma that she held for no reason at all. What they try to put on South Carolina, I'll never forgive people for that. And so being able to showcase that off top, like, hey, let me undo this thinking that you all carry, dismantle this bias that you all have on behalf of Aaliyah Boston, which makes no sense because she's the most pleasant person in the world. And if I can showcase that, that's a win for me. And those are the wins. That's what wins look like for me every day, having players feel seen and heard and visible, and helping to be the cheerleader to them and the amplifier of their stories.
I love the word amplify there too. And it reminds me of what Dawn was just saying about coaching, and how for her coaching is all about connection. Is connection really the basis of you and your approach to interviews?
Relationships are currency, but you shouldn't use them as just, spinature, right? Like, so it's mutually beneficial. There's a reason why Dawn Staley is Dawn Staley, and she's put in the work. She's made people around her better. That's a great testament to a good leader. And she hears you. She's always there. There's never been a time that I have called Dawn Staley and she has not picked up. When I hosted Asia Wilson's book tour, The Last Stop, literally 2 days before, I had this just ridiculous idea to put together a montage of all the people that care about her, or some of the people that care about her, together and present to her as her flowers, right? 2 days before. Do you know where Dawn Staley was? Dawn Staley was in Iowa recruiting. Okay, Dawn Staley is on the plane. I'm like, Dawn, hey girl, I call her Donnie. Donnie, I need this from you. She was like, when do you need it? I was like, in a few hours. She was like, you're absolutely insane. But she did it from the Delta Club. She's always shown up for me. But I'm able to do that with players. I'm like, hey, I need this from you. Or, hey, can you hop on this interview with me? And that's just a testament. Dawn is right. If you don't have these relationships, actual tangible relationships with people, if you haven't shown that you'll be there for them, why would you expect them to show up for you? So my job is a lot easier because I could call somebody up and be like, I need you right now. Just like you call me up, I need you right now, right? So it's all about making relationships, uplifting each other, really holding hand in hand on this journey together, because without that, you have nothing.
And we're going to talk more about that. The other sponsor for today that we got to mention is Robinhood. Did you know that even if you have a 401k for retirement, you could still have an IRA? Robinhood has the only IRA that gives you 3% boost on every dollar you contribute when you subscribe to Robinhood Gold. But get this, now through April 30th, next month, Robinhood is even boosting every single dollar you transfer in from other retirement accounts with a 3% match. That's right, no cap on the 3% match. Robinhood Gold gets you the most for your retirement thanks to the IRA with a 3% match. This offer is good through April 30th. Get started at robinhood.com/boost. Subscription fees apply. And now for some legal info. Claim as of Q1 2024, validated by Radius Global Market Research. Investing involves risk, including loss. Limitations apply to IRAs and 401ks. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold for 1 year from the date of 3% match. Must keep Robinhood IRA for 5 years. The 3% match on transfers is subject to specific terms and conditions. Robinhood IRA is available to U.S. customers in good standing. Robinhood Financial LLC is a registered broker-dealer. Okay, got the sponsorships out the way. Thank God. All right. So I feel like there's so much we could talk about with narrative, and I feel like always this bubble around this period where March Madness is about to happen. The WNBA season is going to start in a couple months. So for you, you're watching these games, and you mentioned a little bit of the ACC tournament. I would love to talk about Hannah Hidalgo for a second. Man, she has been so exciting to watch. Notre Dame claiming the title over Virginia Tech, 55-51, and Hidalgo being the tournament's MVP. I would love to give some flowers to her and talk a little ACC hoops with you if you're cool with that.
I'm cool with it. I'm still heartbroken because my Wolfpack, it was NC State, Notre Dame, and I'm like, listen, I am a NC State Wolfpack. Like I cheered, I'm NC State everything, and just to see that happening while you're on call, like I'm split screening. I'm like calling AU, and I'm like, what's going on? So I was a little heartbroken, but Hannah, you did that. Like it's fine. We're doing great. It's fine.
But a historic season from NC State too, though. And they had some crazy stretches this season. So I feel like you guys do deserve all the love.
Gigi, is it historic or is that just what we do? Like they just try to play us like we weren't ranked going to the season. I'm like, listen, I was talking to Devereaux Peters. We were beefing because obviously she went to Notre Dame. I went to NC State. And we just realized that NC State and Notre Dame have owned 8 of the 9 past ACC tournament championship titles. Like, we do this. And so historic, no, this is the norm. Okay, this is the norm. Respect. And so just NC State has been excellent over a great span of years at this point. And so I'm just excited to see what they're going to do on the tournament run. But Hannah Hidalgo has really shown up. I mean, talk about a freshman who had to fill some shoes. Notre Dame, I don't know what's going on with their injuries. Like, it's been like this since they won the national championship. And like they were playing with all of 2 players. Like, they were down in 19 by half. Anyways, but the fact that Hannah Hidalgo was ready to step in and impact both ends of the floor in the way she has. She's a defensive menace. Okay. She's so crazy. And then she really puts up numbers for her team. So just assuming that role as a freshman and knowing it can only go up from here because now Olivia Miles is coming back too. Like you have more help. Like Hannah, girl, you did that. And at the Aces Classic before, not the Las Vegas Aces, but the Aces, like, anyway, in the Aces Classic beforehand, they were telling me how Hannah Hidalgo is the one to watch when she was still in high school. And so knowing that, everybody should listen when people say, watch out for this girl, because she did that. She did.
Is there anybody else you'd like to honor now? Maybe an NC State?
I'll honor the entire team of Syracuse women's basketball.
Yeah.
We have overlooked them, and they went through a great stretch of basketball in February. And honestly, January and February, they have played up to a level that we didn't expect Syracuse to play. Like I'm an ACC voter. I had no idea Syracuse was going to come with that this year. But Diasha Fair, she's been
she's so fun to watch. Oh my gosh.
And so I challenge us. Like, I understand that I am a part of the problem because I'm NC State to the death of me, but like that's because that's my alma mater. But I challenge us to realize how competitive the ACC is top down. Okay. Like you have conferences that have really elite teams, but I would say top down, the ACC ain't nothing to play with. Anybody can get it on any given night. And that's just a testament to the ACC being the premier basketball conference. And the fact that we're adding Stanford next year, what?
This is going to get crazy. It's going to be a crazy difference. No Pac-12 is wild to me. I can't believe that.
I'm a traditionalist, Gigi, and I don't like the fact that there's not going to be a Pac-12. That really hurts my heart. My beat is ACC and Pac-12, which is kind of strange, just like opposite coast. But like coming up when I was a beat writer, I was ACC, and then my secondary was Pac-12. And so knowing that Pac-12 is dismantled the way it is, and it is the most elite conference comprehensively, not just basketball, like comprehensively. It's produces the most Olympians. These are facts that people can look up. Like the Pac-12 was it. And so it makes me really sad that they're not in existence anymore. And I look to sports like gymnastics, knowing that those gymnasts are going to have to go to different conferences, especially the ones entering the ACC. That's kind of like a little lopsided because ACC just got ACC gymnastics this year. And so I'm interested to see how it impacts everybody that's not football. That bothers me a lot. And I hate that football dictates everything. I hate that it dictates everything.
Yes. I can't let you go without talking about that Looks and Books story you were just mentioning. Asia's book. And I remember watching this interview you did with her last year, and it was so emotional when she's talking about sacrifice and how hard it is to get through tough times. So you're having these emotional moments with the best basketball player in the world. Can you talk about what that was like to feel that connection to her and facilitate that connection between her, the book, and the crowd that was there listening?
I don't have any words to describe A'ja Wilson. I don't understand how there's any type of emotion projected towards her outside of positivity ever, because she shows up. If y'all knew A'ja's schedule, and I said this in the book tour, and this is why she was so emotional. Like, if y'all knew her schedule, if y'all saw how much she shows up for everybody all the time and gives them the same A'ja Wilson from day 1 to day 29, you wouldn't have any critique. Like, that girl has written a book that no matter what gender or ethnicity you are, you can resonate with, because you can identify life moments within it. Like this Dear Black Girls is for everybody. I mean, it's for us, but it's for everybody as well. And she's didn't have to extend that transparency and vulnerability to us, but she did. She doesn't have to show up the way she does for everybody every day, but she does. She's an introvert. I am too. She's an introvert, an only child, and she shows up, makes everybody feel like family. And the least I could do as somebody who's been following her career for a while, and I consider us cool, like we're pretty cool, is show people the love that I have for her and show people the love she has within herself. And it oftentimes ends in emotions because she just loves so hard. She loves her family so hard. She loves Dawn Staley, who she considers family, like she considers her second mom, so hard. She loves people so much. And you can tell that whenever you lead with passion the way she does, it's always going to end with emotion. And especially if you talk to another passionate person, we're tapped in, we're locked in, right? And these
Pisces too.
You know, I mean, even though she's a Leo, but that's a story for a different day. But yes, I am a Pisces, and I'm always identifying with my feelings, Leos. I don't know about y'all. But the fact that we can have a two-way conversation and really get into the root of why she is the way she is and the inspiration that she has to be so present with everybody, it's gonna cause an emotional response because it is so deep within her. That's in her. You can't teach the qualities of A'ja Wilson that she possesses. You can't teach that. You have to be born with it. You have to feel it. And if anybody who's ever felt the presence of A'ja Wilson knows, like, that is the most pure-spirited thing. There's a reason why she's so successful outside of her talent. Like, God don't play about her. And she's covered. Okay. That girl is covered. And so I'm really proud of her, and I'm really proud of the tour. I love the Howard women's basketball stuff. Shout out to Howard women's basketball. They honored her as Queen of the Court. My friend Jean Marie, she's a coach there, but shout out to Jeannie. but just being able to have that, bridging that gap from collegiate to pros and having her being present for them, you can't duplicate that.
You can't. And it's setting so many different people on a path where it's like, oh, okay, I see it and I believe it. Like I see it's happening. And I feel like I loved when Asia was writing about how she developed patience too. And I feel like that's something that is a low key fact about her. People you don't really realize, but she's one of the most patient people I think ever as a player. And I loved reading about that. I feel like I took so many lessons from that. And
I want to challenge people. I want to challenge people when they're so vocally critical and in a nasty way, to just think, how can I be like Asia Wilson to show up for people that it's hard to not be paranoid about who said what and who said what. She has that every day. She has hate coming to her every day, but she still spreads love to everybody. It doesn't matter what you said about her or what you think about her. It doesn't matter. She still shows up and spreads love. So I challenge everybody to understand that these athletes, and this goes back to Aaliyah Boston as well, these athletes have to endure so much constant criticism and people calling on their character, which is completely based off falsities, but they still show up with a smile, or they still show up and be present, or they still show up and make it warm for everybody. Like I challenge them to just stop and think before you come for these athletes and say, hey, they're human too. Asia's human. She doesn't function as a human. She functions as a freaking superhero. But these people are human, and that emotion you see whenever we talk is real human emotion, and it's human to human. And so that's all I want to leave you with Asia.
I love that. Okay, and it is your birthday, and I feel like you're the type of person that's like, I want everyone to put energy into something for your birthday kind of vibe. So I want to honor your birthday and your birthday wishes by giving you time to tell people what you would like them to maybe put their energy into or focus on, even if it's just this week or today when this comes out, whatever it might be. What would be your birthday wishes for a collective energy kind of shift?
I want everybody to embrace the theme of empathy and just being a little bit more kind. It would be great if people could just take a beat and understand that there's nuance to most things, everything, and walk with empathy. That's it. And I sound like the pageant girl. I just want world peace. But no, like it would be great, right? I just want virtual peace. Everybody just empathize with the nuances that come with everybody. And tune in to sports. So tune into women's sports. Find a sport that you haven't watched yet and watch it. What I loved last year is I got into surfing. I got into big wave surfing, and it's great. My friend AJ McCord is the girl, the journalist, the reporter for big wave surfing. Like, just she's great. Ooh. And we got the opportunity. I don't like to say we had to. We got the opportunity to cover big wave surfing in Hawaii, and she taught me so much about that sport that I fell in love with it immediately. Then we were on Oahu. Then we went to Maui to Paige Alms. She's one of the big wave surfers, her farm, and just had a great experience. And it stretched my mind to be open to more sports. I know this is Locked On Basketball, Locked On Women's Basketball, but like, let's lock in on other sports as well. And if we're just focused on basketball, that's great. So lock into a team, maybe a 16 seed team. Right now, I know like I'm probably aging this or like making a time limit on this. So sorry when it releases. Sorry, Locked On fam.
All good.
But my friend coaches at Rice. They're a 10 seed. They're going in the semifinals today, right? They just beat the 2 seed last night. This is March Madness. So lean into a lower seed. See what you can love about a lower seed and go from there. So empathy and like paying attention to the not so obvious things.
And where can everybody find you, and what are you going to be up to besides, post celebrating your birthday, have your peace away from work, but what can everybody tune in to watch you on?
We're on season 3 of Off Top with the WNBA. And so those are the more so untold stories of the league. And I try to get players like Monique Billings, Danielle Robinson, Cheyenne Parker, like, Jackie even got her talking a little bit. KB. We've been able to talk to different players. Our latest is Ryan and Aaliyah, but we're on season 3. We always film a preseason one, but it's going to be throughout the season, and they typically air on Ion. I think that they're still airing on Ion this year, but it's on WNBA app and YouTube. You can check those out. Also, I have a huge rollout with Team USA, 23 sit downs with Olympic athletes. And so just those are going to start the rollout literally this week. And so be able to look out for those. And you can always follow me because, like I said, I don't really have balance with being on versus being off because I consume this anyway. So at Ari Ivory on every social media platform, you can check out whether it's behind the scenes of what's going on in games, game breakdowns, all sports, or just my prep is there too. So just make sure you tune into that. And Athletes Unlimited week 3. Let's get it. Today, Thursday, is the day where week 3 starts for them.
Yes, let's go. Week 3 is going to be so fun. And I think it starts with Team Cloud is going to be playing. There's going to be some good games. Everybody tune in. But yeah, I think it's going to be Team Mitchell versus Team Cloud and then Team Gray versus Team Sim. So definitely two fun matchups. Ari, happy birthday. Thank you for everything you do on behalf of anybody who considers women's sports or consumes women's sports and loves it. We all know you. And when I told everybody that I was going to have you on today in our Lockdown Women's Basketball group chat, they couldn't believe it. And they said, I literally cannot wait. And that's just the infectious energy you have from forming that. The WNBA is so important with Swin Cash back when you did, and how often you just put out good energy and prioritize women's sports. It doesn't go unnoticed. So happy birthday, regardless. And also, thank you for
I'm gonna
everything
project it back on you real quick because you remind me of me.
We talked about this.
No, I understand, but you remind me so much of me when I was in my 20s. But you have more resources, and so now I can't wait to see what you do with your career. You show up every time, like you show up. That's something that's so underrated. Showing the freak up, show up, and you show up with a smile. You show up with an understanding that these players are human, and so they like you, and you're super cute. So like it's gonna be a great journey for you, and I can't wait to see where your career takes you. So keep going. Your success is my success. So keep going.
Same here. Happy birthday. Thank you for that. And thank you for coming on Lockdown Women's Basketball. All love. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Eddie.